Hello dear children, welcome you all back to science class. We have learned in our last class what are the harmful effects of friction, or in other words, what are the disadvantages of friction. In today's class, we are going to learn what are the different methods in which we can reduce friction. We have already learned that when two surfaces are in contact with each other, then there is force of friction. Now let us see what are the different ways in which we can reduce this friction. So the first method by which we can reduce friction is by the use of lubricants. Now what are these lubricants? Lubricants are substances that are used to make a surface smooth. We have already learned that force of friction is more on rough surfaces, while force of friction is less on smooth surfaces. Now, if you want to reduce the friction of a surface, the first thing that we can do is to make a surface smooth, because smooth surfaces will have less friction. Now, how do you make a surface smooth? This can be done by the use of lubricants. So lubricants are substances that are used to make a surface smooth. Now, can you think of some of the examples of lubricants? As you see here in the picture, we apply oil on cycle chains, isn't it? Yes. Now, by the application of oil on cycle chains, we would be able to pedal the bicycles easily, isn't it? Yes. And in the same way as you see here in the second picture, sometimes we apply oil on hinges of doors as you see here in the picture. Now this will help in the easy opening and closing of the door, isn't it? Which means it reduces friction. So oil and grease are called lubricants because application of oil and grease will make a surface smooth. Such substances that make a surface smooth are called lubricants. Now let us see examples of some other lubricants. Now as you see here in the picture, when we play caroms, as you have seen here, we apply powder on it on the carom board. Why do you think we do that? Now this is to make the surface of carom board smooth so that we can strike the coins smoothly. Now only if the surface of carom board is smooth, when we strike the coins will move smoothly. Now in order to make it smooth, we apply powder. So powder is again a substance used to make the surface smooth. Therefore powder is also an example of a lubricant. Same like that, wax is also a substance used to make a surface smooth, and therefore it is also an example of a lubricant. In addition to usage of lubricants, using rollers and wheels will also help to reduce friction. Now, you all would have seen in case of cars, trucks and bicycles, they have wheels, isn't it? Yes, why do you think they have wheels? This will help to reduce friction. Now, if you look into this picture here you can see a boy is rolling a suitcase. Now, as you see here, the suitcase has wheels. Now, we know that it is easier to roll the suitcase with its wheels on. Without wheels, it is difficult to move it, isn't it? Yes, so it is convenient to pull a suitcase that are fitted with wheels because wheels reduce friction. So using rollers and wheels are another way in which we can reduce friction. In addition to that, Streamlining is also an important way in which we can reduce friction. Now, if you would have observed the shapes of ships, cars and aeroplanes, you would have seen that they have a streamlined shape or a boat-shaped body. Now, why do you think this is so? Especially ships, aeroplanes and cars, they have a streamlined body because this streamlined shape will help to reduce the effect of friction. So, as you see here, in case of an aeroplane, as it moves in the air, there is friction due to air. So this shape of the aeroplane, that is this streamlined shape of aeroplane, will help to reduce the effect of friction that is caused due to air. That is why boats and ships especially have streamlined bodies in order to reduce friction. So streamlining is another important way in which we can reduce friction. So by using lubricants, by streamlining, and also by using rollers and wheels, we can reduce friction. So now we have understood what are the different ways in which we can reduce friction. Now let's have a look at ways in which we can increase friction. We have already learned that smooth surfaces have less friction, while rough surfaces have more friction. So in order to increase friction of a surface, we can do that by making a surface rough. For example, as you see here in the picture, sides of matchbox are made rough in order to increase friction. Now, since the sides of matchbox is rough and there is more friction, that is why when we strike a matchstick against this rough surface, the matchstick lights up. This is because there is rough surface here and rough surfaces have more friction. So when this matchstick is in contact with the rough surface of this matchbox, there is friction and it produces light. Another way in which we can increase friction is by making grooves, like how you see here in the picture. Now, if you notice the tires, you can see that there are various cuts here on this tire. Now, these are nothing but grooves. So, friction can be increased by making such grooves as you see here in the tires of bicycles, cars, trucks, buses, etc. Now, the grooves that are present here, as you see, this will prevent vehicles from skidding off the road. Now, we have already learned another way in which we can increase friction. As you see here, the soles of your shoes. We can see that the soles of shoes also have such grooves which will help to increase friction, so that it will help the person to walk on the surface with a grip. So by making grooves and by making surfaces rough, we can increase friction.